Last we left off, you had all returned to the capital city of Karden after a month-long adventure spanning through the underworld to the peaks of the Silver Highlands, down again below the surface of Iron. After such a whirlwind journey, you were in much need of rest, relaxation, and to tie up a few mundane ends. Upon returning to the city, you did a little shopping, outfitting yourselves to be better equipped for future adventures. You also retrieved some mail and gifts from family. However, not all was simple or mundane. In your day's excursions, you noted an odd feeling of being watched, and with keen eyes and druidic transformation, found that what looked like an impish gargoyle seemingly watching you one morning. It didn't act untoward, but nonetheless you noted its presence. Similarly, while traveling from ward to ward, you overheard the familiar and unsettling verses of the Crimson Strings being performed by a theater troupe as part of the festival. You spoke with the actors involved and found it had been one of several options assigned to this class of actors at the College of Performance and Artistry. Your interest was piqued by what that could mean. However, your attentions were forcibly diverted as you found yourselves roped into a first snow festival performance of your own. In visiting Silk and Splendor, looking for high-quality fabric and thread for Andy's spell sash, the proprietor became enamored with your wizard's unique beauty. In exchange for her participation in festivities put on by the College of Performance and Artistry and the Order of Majesty, she would repay her with the fine materials she sought. In time, DeCrane's unique physique was likewise ensnared, and the pair of you were fit with the pieces of an ensemble to come under the banner, the Sovereigns of Frost, in the gala event to come the next day. You decided to take it easy the rest of this evening. You have the day leading up to the gala event to do with as you please, provided you are at the Gilded Stage at sundown. With that, we begin the morning of the gala event in Karden. What did the four of you do?
Coffee, brekkie, at the end.
Yep.
I will say I'll take any time because I know at least we said that we were going to get Enid and Augustus in there, and they're like, sure, you can be aides. So I'll just take some time the night before to use any mending and prestidigitation to clean all your shit, to make everything look as nice as possible so that hopefully we fit in a little bit more.
Prestidigitation takes out a bulk of just caked mud and crud over the years, and especially over the last couple of months of adventuring. But yeah, the evening last night, just kind of taking it easy enough to patch up a couple rips and tears and frayed threads.
I probably embroider a few things in corners and stuff while I'm doing it, just for fun.
Don't make it look too new, though. It's gotta have that rustic vibe.
I don't think this is the rustic vibe, Crad. But, I mean, I'm all for character. Wait, you said, what did you say, a gray jay?
A couple gray jays in the corners.
Okay. Yeah.
And then maybe a brown jay or...
I think that's just a sparrow. Okay, yeah.
And then there's a black jay.
Just birds?
Jay.
Okay, I can do a lot of birds if that's what you want.
You could also maybe do, I don't know, I don't want to put you on the spot, but there's this dragon from the book I'm reading if you wanted to put it.
It's real cool. I think that might be, I don't know if I had quite the time to do a whole dragon theme. We're talking this much space in the corners.
Okay.
Maybe later. If you can get me some nice thread, maybe I can make that a project over time.
I imagine we're at the, I guess, do you think this is pre-breakfast or this
This would have been the night before because I don't want to do magic in public. And that's magic.
Then later at breakfast, I would say. Maybe bringing over some coffee refills to us. Are you guys nervous at all for the fashion show?
We'll walk in a line with clothes on. What's there to be nervous about?
I mean, everyone watching you, judging everything you do with their eyes.
You walk, you show your clothing, and you walk out. That's all.
Yeah,
isn't it your first fashion show, DeCrane? Have you been in more than one?
No, but I know some guardsmen that used to do this, and I was not impressed.
I thought, but didn't you just say you just walk and wear clothes? You walk one way and then walk the other way and try to look cool. Although she did say after that we have to go to a fancy party and talk to people. Which, I mean, I love talking to people. But fancy people, we'll see.
Just to get the story straight, you knew a bunch of guards who did a fashion show, but you weren't impressed by their fashion show.
Right. Well, we're impressed by the concept of a fashion show, or just what their performance.
stand the need to do a fashion show, that businesses must promote their lines of clothing. But I'm not impressed by the people that they chose.
I see. Okay.
If you want to show your best clothing, you need to pick the best people.
Well, apparently they're
Not
very
the
impressed
best
with you.
people.
They really like your bone structure. So and she also told you not to she told you not to eat or drink anything. I'm specifically ignoring those rules because honestly, I burned through a lot of calories. But she did say don't eat or potentially drink because she wanted you to look emaciated.
That's kind of.
I mean, the attitude that you must have is, I'm going to eat and drink, and if they don't like it, what are they going to do? Who are they going to replace me?
Wait. You didn't have to eat anything.
I don't. I'm saying you.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to do what I want.
Exactly. It's not like there's
Also, food is delicious. Why would I not eat? That seems silly. I need energy to walk in a line.
Unless it's part of a plan.
Sure.
Not eating makes you weak. Could there be nefarious characters that we need to watch out for?
Right.
Oh.
I mean, that's a good question overall. Because we also, this is fancy people territory. We need to, you guys are trying to figure out, I don't remember his name. I wrote it down somewhere.
You mean find Sir Escalath Voss?
Voss?
You mean Professor Eldris, the person who put on the
the
play? Nettie and I are on it, right, Nettie?
I was just gonna say, isn't that what we're doing?
Yeah. Very covertly, very stealth.
Yeah. We only know stealth.
What's your plan? Are you gonna pretend to be potential students or actual students or just scholars? Stories are a thing that I have a lot of history with and I hadn't heard that one before. But are you gonna go in and break into his office? Or are you just gonna say, hi, we're these people and also we saw this great play and we heard that it was about something you did. We'd love to see the script. We're potentially traveling musicians and we want to make it a fucking musical, right?
That's even better idea than I was gonna say. We could use Augie and be he's an art student and then he's doing art because we're a traveling band. So but that's even better. So we go with that.
I feel like I gotta confess something to you guys. I've been looking back at my previous drawings and I'm wondering if my artistic talent isn't visual but instead audital. Maybe I should help. Nettie was so good at it. Yeah. Nettie was so good at playing her battle lute. Maybe I could do some sort of percussion with it, and that's our calling.
Well, tap out on the table. What you got?
Kyle, can I make a performance check here of trying to tap out some sort of beat?
Amazing.
Absolutely. A performance check is required.
Come on, dice gods. This is it. This is it, baby.
Most important roll.
18 plus 1, it's a 19.
That's pretty fucking good. You're gonna roll like shit the rest of the night.
That's all I wanted.
What I'll say is it's nothing revolutionary, but it is very much on a beat, consistent tone. You're hitting this, and every now and again throwing a little extra in there. You're okay, for playing sticks on a table. It's pretty good.
Pretty impressive.
Not bad.
Thanks.
Wow, where'd you learn to play sticks on a table like that?
I feel like it's a rhythm in my heart that I just channel into the sticks,
I do hope you don't stop drawing birds though, because I really enjoy it.
No, that's for me, that I do that for me.
Your birds are so good. Don't ever stop.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I think that's a good idea. Nettie, I was just going to say we introduce ourselves and tell them our entire life story, but maybe we should be more covert about it and say, we're musicians. We're thinking about maybe putting this song on. Hey, where did you hear of this song? Are you spooky and going to try and kill us? These kind of questions.
Maybe avoid that last one. But generally, yeah. I mean, and even these people, fancy people, don't they have aides and an assistant? You could start there if you can't find him, or if he's spooky, maybe the assistant has is less spooky because they're just an assistant.
Guys, should we have a code word for danger? If something happens at this party, we share, whether it's disco or Jenga or some sort of word we could use.
Jenga, very much not branded Chenga.
Sorry,
Disco was the best one, and I don't know if we could beat it from last campaign. I'm sorry, guys.
Disco was really good.
How about just assemble?
Assemble? It's quite obvious what it means.
It needs to be something that's like a little like more covert, I think, than
you could drop it in conversation.
If there's danger, we act. We don't wait.
I'm trying to think of another musical pun because we're in music right now and I'm having a hard time.
Panic
Dropping
is
the beat.
High voltage. What else is danger?
what is it? Fallout Boy, My Chemical Romance, Fallout Boy.
That was last campaign, Scott. We got to think of something.
I gotta evolve it.
Thank you for the music.
Thanks for the memes. Sugar, we're going down. That'd be a good one. Is it sugar? Is the code word sugar?
Sugar.
Sugar. Can I say that in an Australian accent? Sugar?
Yeah, that was convincing.
Oh, you got it.
It's not bad.
Maybe it's sugar, like sugar, it's going down. That bard song, like it's about to go down.
There you go. Yeah, and I mean that's something you can easily like just use it, pretend it's like a pet name, or like.
Or if you hear me do this
coffee's really missing some sugar.
If you hear me go boom 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 boom, that's the bard song for it. You would know it's about to go down.
Okay, cool.
Well, I'm ready for this party.
I feel like we're supposed to be doing more prep. Oh, I will say at some point, I'm gonna make sure probably Enid has my spell book. Like I don't know if I should leave
spell stash.
My spell stash.
Gotcha.
I can take
and my
that,
astrolabe. I really like don't want them out of my sight, but like if I can just give them to Enid, I am a little concerned about if this place has like magic security.
Mm-hmm.
But this is fancy part of town.
Yeah, I guess.
But I also don't. I can't leave them. I can't leave them. Like I can leave them out of my sight. So
I could.
And I'm
Yeah,
not
we
gonna
could
be
just
able
hold
to
them. We could just hold them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. I shove way too many waffles in my face, considering I have to walk.
Is this a waffle
I don't know.
tavern?
It's a Waffle House.
The famous
Which place are you guys staying at? You guys staying at the Red Lion?
Yeah,
I truly don't remember.
Red Lion.
Do they have waffles?
Let's see. Hang on.
Come on, dice.
It is odd there are no waffles.
Fine, I'll take pancakes.
Does do a really good omelet here. Really good omelets. And the muffins are surprisingly very good.
Oh, fuck, I would crush a muffin.
Definitely take a muffin to go.
Yeah.
How's got Costco muffins?
Oh, God, they're deadly. They're fucking deadly. You gotta freeze them.
No, we're just gonna eat them all. There's not that many. We can get the big pack. It's just like the.
Oh, I always get the big pack. You gotta get that big guy. Kyle, I know we gotta pick up. I gotta pick up my breastplate and my sticks, but don't need to RP that if we just want to get to the thing.
Yeah, realistically, like it would just be picking them up unless you wanted to specifically say or do something while there. It's just a kind of hand wave. You've already paid, out of pocket for your purchases. Whether you paid now or then, it doesn't matter. You take out of your character's inventory, so I'm good there. So you are able to add that to your inventory. Kev, I don't remember if we had agreed whether your stuff would be ready at the same time, or if you had just done it on the day. Didn't you order or have could you attach something to a chain or a rope?
It was
maybe you just bought the pieces and were going to do it yourself.
The rope /
the grappling
hook. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you bought
For the listener, we have not played very much in the last month and a half.
There was some pneumonia. But we're back, baby. We're back.
I think you just bought the pieces so you can just tie those together and do your own.
Okay.
So it was unnecessary to do anything more. But regardless, you are all outfitted with the things that you have purchased in the last game and ready to rock. Unless there is anything else that you want to add to your day's preparations, pickups, or anything like that, we can jump ahead to nearing sundown as you begin to make your way towards the high street and the gilded stage.
I'm just going to swap a spell here that I would have done in the morning.
I should have checked my spells.
But otherwise, Al, do you have to prepare spells, or does that just
yeah,
have
she
them?
does.
Yeah.
You guys are free to go ahead and swap your spells and anything like that. Anything I say in the next 15 minutes isn't going to influence your spell choices.
Cool.
You're headed towards what you already know you're headed towards. So, as the four of you gather and make your way towards the Gilded Stage, you walk along the high street, and once again, it's a decent walk to come from where you're staying and make your way into the River Ward. It's cool, and especially as it's getting deeper into the night, closer to the sundown, starting to get cooler. You're seeing lots of fires and the lamplighters coming out to illuminate the streets. And that is giving a very Christmassy kind of vibe, this kind of spirited nature is in the air. We're seeing a lot of people out and about celebrating and are able to pick up warm ciders and hot chocolates and things along your way. But as you're walking along the high street, you're being passed by some very lavish carriages headed towards the College of Performance and Artistry that you are also headed towards. There is a buzz in the air the closer and closer you get. The lights of the college begin to come into view, and you see the shops and buildings around High Street begin to take on a slightly different tone. There's a more classic brick, older, and rooted style of construction. And the shops and the design surrounding them and here in the streets definitely skews towards a younger, more artistic crowd. You see busy taverns and bars, coffee shops, and sprawling outdoor entertainment spaces. People are excitedly taking in the sights of the first snow festival and also doing a significant amount of people watching as the carriages and the who's who of Karden pass through the arches into the college grounds proper. You also find your way beneath these arches and walk the long stretch of cobblestone that is the long, ostentatious entry to the college, fittingly to the destination at the end of the round where passengers are let out and carriages taken out of sight. You see the exterior of the college, as best described as a Victorian castle. Large and imposing, 3 stories of staged tiers and balconies of stone with ornate extrusions, gabled roofs, towers, turrets, and large arched windows with black metal mullions and grills. You see people led inside through the main entry here and directed inside and to the right. You can see light is spilling out from all of these open windows and doors as you can hear the sounds of music being played and lots of kind of the din of chatter as you approach. The closer and closer you get, you've been getting some side eyes as you've been walking up. Not quite the same clientele that are making their way in here. And as you get closer and closer to the main doors here, you're being eyed quite suspiciously by... They're not guards who are kind of standing at the door, but whoever these people are, they're not armed, clearly anyways. And they are kind of just eyeing you up and down as they're letting some of these other more illustrious guests within. When a pair of pixie-ish girls in matching dresses rush out, having spotted the pair of you, Andy and DeCrane, and excitedly rush down to you and say, "Hi, I'm Rose. This is Melanie. We're with Mistress Savine. We can take you in to get the first things set up for your performance tonight. If you're ready to go."
Sure. Yeah.
Great. Follow me. Come on.
Should we come? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mistress Savine said you would have +1s. So come on. Kind of frantically, they begin to rush back into this great hall. You're all kind of side-eye glanced as you make your way in, but whether they know Rose, Melanie, or the allure of Mistress Savine has stopped anyone from stopping you from making your way inside the great hall. Inside this great hall, you see the Victorian mansion theme kind of continue. Checkered tile floor, glittering chandelier, torch and candlelight sconces light the space brightly, and art adorns every open space on the walls. There's a large central staircase that leads to a second floor and another leading higher out of sight. Halls and doors seem to lead into hundreds of different wings and rooms, and the din of chatter and activity seems to be coming immediately to the right of this entry kind of great hall in a large double door entry of a massive ballroom. It spreads and extends far out to the right, full of guests dressed to the nines. Above the massive kind of double door, there's a placard that reads Carvel Hall. Rose and Melanie pause as you all kind of pause, taking a look in at this array of luxuriously dressed guests and music and all these things that are in there before they kind of snap to and say, you'll have a chance to mingle, but first let's get into at least the first layer. And they usher you to follow them.
How many layers are there?
Several. And a little, she's like concerned that you didn't realize that. But the two of them will kind of chatter back and forth as they lead you past this kind of cocktail hour in the hall through a series of winding halls and corridors leading backstage. And these halls become progressively more crowded with all artists, actors, writers. There's chatting, there's smoking, there's people doing their own makeup and others' makeup and hurriedly making last-minute alterations to costumes and outfits. And finally, you reach a room and are ushered inside by these assistants to Mistress Sabine. It's a small room. It's a dressing room, as you can imagine. Dressing room is not particularly large, but there's enough space in here for two small bunny folk and the two of you to kind of get stood up in these two positions that they kind of usher you. Rose rushes to DeCrane, and Melanie rushes over to Andy and starts kind of just like saying, okay, if you guys are good, let's get this first step underway. And then, well, we've got a long night ahead of us, but we want to get you guys in, give you time to get in to go and mingle in the cocktail hour, show yourselves off a little bit with Mistress Sabine, kind of get that first impression, hopefully get some eyes looking your way before the actual performance, and then we'll come back here before that is done and get you ready for the actual show. We don't go on.
Talking to people is first.
Well, yes, the cocktail hour is now. Then there's the after parties. After.
Okay. Right.
We're in for a long one tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Are you two? She points to the two of you and just doesn't finish her question.
Yeah.
They're with us. Yeah.
Are you gonna watch?
Oh, like the changing, or like the performance, or?
Yes.
Yes.
You can be here. It doesn't bother me.
Okay. Great. She just kind of gestures for you to take off what you have on.
No shame.
Put my ears over my eyes.
Zero shame.
Rose does the same to you, DeCrane, with the air of just kind of like, there's a little bit more of reserve nature with you, of just like, undress.
If you wish.
So sexy. DeCrane just rips his shit off.
Just tear away.
The Twilight soundtrack plays in the background.
Yeah.
Just sheer
So
underneath.
sparkly.
This is the skin of a killer. Okay.
Over the next about 10 minutes, you guys are stripped, and then the first kind of layers and elements are applied. It's for Andy, it's basically like a simple slip with some of the accoutrement of like these kind of like sapphire and gem elements that are kind of outside, and like these I don't know how best to describe them, but they're almost like almost like armor plates, but it's like a clear like element that is just like mostly like gem and crystalline to like affix, so it just sits on you almost like a brace around your arms, like adding this kind of element. They both do makeup and contouring and things as quickly as you've ever seen done, and a little bit around the hair, but the hair is not really touched yet. They kind of let it kind of fly. DeCrane, Rose looks at your hair and is like trying to like mess with it, but it's just kind of like amorphous slightly and just kind of keeps just doing its own thing, and so she's just kind of like, I'm just gonna leave that.
That's probably better.
Okay, well, first steps are good. We've got the base here. should they both are like kind of looking back and forth at each other, like, you're welcome to come. We're gonna go to the cocktail hour for a little bit.
Okay. Am I we're supposed to go to the cocktail hour to like talk to schmooze people up despite the levels of undress here? Or does that matter? I don't care. But like, do other people care?
Well, you're the model, so it's kind of expected.
Okay. Just walk off.
Okay.
Wait, sorry. Turn back. Do we need like a game plan?
Just keep sweet things in mind if anything goes bad.
I already forgot the word. I'm glad I remembered it now. Thank you for that. Wait, I'll go to like the ladies. What? I know, like I want to do the best I can. Yeah, but I've never done this before. What? Do you have any tips? Like I'm not fancy. None of us are like fancy people, and frankly, sometimes the fancy people make me angry. So like, what do we do?
You can see that Rose has already slipped off. Both of them want to go to this way more than they want to be here with you. Mm-hmm. There's this allure of this cocktail hour, and the glitz and glam is far more intoxicating than their jobs. But with your kind of honesty, she holds back and says, so if you've never done this before,
absolutely not.
Essentially, she looks around the space and she finds a program for the night's events, and she kind of like holds it up, looks at it, and you can see quickly the breakdown of kind of the timeline of the night's events. The Gala of First Snow program at 7 o'clock, cocktail hour in the Carvel Hall. 8 o'clock, the Gilded stage doors open. At 8:30, there's a headmaster's address. At 8:40, the Day of Dark Sun is presented by the college understudies. At 9, there's the King's Symphony Orchestra. At 9:30, the Sovereigns of Frost is presented by the Order of Majesty. She points that this is us. 10 o'clock, you see a performance by Dame Elise Alvarin. At 10:30, you see Keegan Friend reads On the Horizon, presented by the Fellowship of Wordsmiths. At 10:35, Mace Kincaid's The True Metal of Iron is presented also by the Fellowship of Wordsmiths. At 10:45, The Last Vigil of Feldrix, presented by the College Ensemble Plays. And then The Crimson Strings, presented by Lola Snicket and the college lead actors, closes out the show at 11.
Wait. That's the thing. The thing we saw in the park. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, so it's just like a bunch of plays and stories and stuff.
Yeah, it's an amalgam of all the things that we offer here at the college.
Oh, that's great. Oh my god, wait, do we get to see that stuff?
Well, you'll be in it.
Yeah, the part where I'm walking. Yeah, okay, but like the other stuff.
There's kind of a spot to watch from the wings, yeah.
Cool. Like backstage. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I say something out of game? Can I say something out of game just to remind us? Out of character, but in the game. Remember, everyone has a Nexus ring, which is an item we were given. We can communicate telepathically with it, except it does projects an image of our face above the ring. Right, Kyle? That's what it said.
Yeah, that's
okay. That's optional. Amazing. So we could just use it. We could just use it telepathically, disco.
Unless it specifically says that it is not telepathic. I think it just acts as a sending spell. So by the sending spell rules, you have to verbalize your response.
Okay, cool. Yep. You send a short message of 25 words or less to a creature you're familiar with. Creature hears the message in their mind, recognizes you as the sender. Spell enables the creature. You can... I don't know if you can message back.
If it's sending, it is a response back.
Return.
Cool. Okay, great. So we have that as an option, but it looks like you do have to say it. Yeah.
And it's an action.
And in theory, you also have to send it verbally. So
that's I think too, yeah.
But it would be received telepathically.
But just if we get separated, we have the option to communicate to each other through your ring, which you can add on D&D Beyond, and it requires attunement. It's
called the Nexus Ring. And also, you also would have the choice. Actually, now would be a good time to make this decision. You can decide the appearance of that ring. You can alter its appearance in any way you want. So you can do that kind of as an action, as a decision to change how it looks. So you could be ostentatious, you can be very simple, you can be however you want to present it. What do your rings look like?
Maddie, I was thinking if mine's a sun, yours could be a moon.
Yes.
Or I could have the moon and you could have the sun to remind each other of each other.
Oh, that's cute too.
Want to do that? That's cute.
Yeah, that's cute. I love that. Okay. Just do that.
Done. Kev, you have a fancy ring, you have a cruddy ring. What kind of ring do you want for your Nexus ring?
I'm thinking something sort of along the lines of like a yin and yang to represent the two universes that I'm from.
Oh, I love it. The duality of DC.
That is cool.
That's pretty cool. Mine would probably just look like everything else she's wearing, which is like has a very like vintage thrifted vibe of just like probably like kind of tarnished brass or bronze or something, maybe like in a vague like connection of stars kind of shape. But very like not flashy at all.
Fair enough. So with that, and with the program, which I forget if this is Rose or Melanie at this point, doesn't really matter. She just kind of leaves it on Melanie leaves it on the table. And she kind of takes over to you, Andy, and just kind of says, like, you've really got a couple of things to remember. Make a splash with your entrance. Walk and don't fall. Strike a pose at the end. Walk back, don't fall. Give a final look to the crowd, and you're done. Let the clothes speak for themselves.
Cool. Okay.
Andy,
Okay.
let the clothes speak for themselves.
I talk a lot. I won't say anything when I'm walking.
That's very smart.
Yeah, this is very decidedly a silent affair. just to put a pin on that one.
Yeah.
Like have fun with it, right? Like is that like a just like
But absolutely, like
okay, cool.
it's absolutely have fun with it. I'm surprised Savine didn't give you any kind of. I'm not surprised. I take that back.
I found it like 2 days ago, and then
All this has happened incredibly fast.
Yeah.
You're not even from
What?
here.
Oh.
No. Not at all. None of us live here.
Yeah, but such is art. It's all very just away you go.
Hey, can I ask you a question? You go to college here? You go to school
Hey,
here?
can we walk and talk?
I'd love to.
Okay, great. And begins to like lead out and is like half looking over her shoulder.
I try and get in front of her, but I'm walking backwards like a little kid. So you go to college here?
Yes, I'm in the in the program here, and kind of mentorship with Mr. Savine.
Do you know like any of the theater kids, the performing arts kids?
I don't really run in the same scenes. Realistically, they are very much in their world. We
Pretty
cross
seen.
paths.
Yeah.
Yes, we cross paths, but honestly, I don't really engage too much. I kind of keep to my world.
Do they have like a vibe? Like, are they like, oh, they're always, hanging out with Professor Eldris or like worshiping demons or like something?
Pardon?
There's like a group like student stuff. I'm not from here.
True. I mean, everyone knows Lola is hanging off of Eldros at any chance she can, which is often. And she's very much the headliner. She's the lead. Everyone knows Lola. But the rest of the leads are in their clique. And they have the ensemble clique, and then there's the understudies, like very much segmented by age and ranking. Keep that. I don't know if it's enforced in some way by the hierarchy or if it's more social rankings. I'm not sure.
Cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was thinking of checking it out. We saw one of their plays in the park. They were rehearsing, and it was like, oh, cool, neat.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I hang more with the symphony crew. They're more chill.
Well, my sister plays music too. We're like kind of a band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I didn't expect that from either of you. I don't know. You just didn't give off the vibe.
Well,
what kind of vibe do we give off?
Kind of. Hey, we're here.
oh, okay. Well, thanks for.
Bye. And then she's just like into the crowd.
Damn.
I'll walk off with them and be like, I'm gonna turn that feeling into a song.
I'll show her vibes.
You guys make your way to the edge of Carvel Hall and see this sprawling kind of black tie gala event. You can see there's a spread of a buffet kind of spread of food. There's all manner of in kind of each corner and variously kind of sporadically throughout this large long hall. There are tables and there are easels set up with paintings, and there are busts, and there are all kinds of art installation elements that are all around the space. And then mingling around are the rich and famous of Karden. Everyone can throw a perception check, actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really good.
10.
A 10.
25.
Well,
Okay, perception check when you can. 25 and 12 and 10. Definitely leading is the 25. A 3. Okay.
Plus 6 or 7.
With the three of you kind of caught up, like there's a lot instantly happening. Like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of glitz and glam, there's kind of lights and little like twinkling lights all sporadically around. There are people passing food that the smell kind of catches your nose and that draws your focus. However, cutting through the crowd with a keen eye, Augustus, you see a handful of things. 25. One, central in the room, having drawn almost like magnetically the biggest crowd and the most people around them, you recognize two incredibly older figures, but incredibly influential figures. You recognize, and it's probably very obvious to the crowns and tiaras that they wear, the king and queen of Karden, of Candorne, are in the middle of this room. You recognize Duke Marco Carvel, who is the master of coin to the king, but is also Lord Mayor of Marabella, and has been part of the King's Council for the last 20 years, but has had shared responsibilities of Lord Mayor of Marabella and Master of Coin, though in the last probably about 5 to 10 years has spent more of his time here than in Marabella. Marabella has then fallen to like a kind of loose structure of leadership, and it's kind of been a bit of a fuck mess up. Like, and you've had that kind of happening in the background from your home world, but you recognize that guy.
Can you drop his name again? Duke
Marco Carvel.
Lord Mayor of Marabella. And he was, Lord of Coin?
Master of Coin and Lord Mayor of Marabella.
Do we get the name of I think we probably know the king and queen?
You guys would all know, actually no. That's actually hard to know what that you know that. Andy,
We're buddies.
So everyone throw me a history check. It's a DC 10.
Okay.
Andy, don't do that.
Oh, that rolled so good. I got a 28.
Shit.
I know
everything. You know who the king and queen are.
Kev, you rolled a D8. I don't think you rolled a D20. Or a D10.
I rolled a D10. I thought you said roll D10.
Oh, sorry. It's DC 10. Roll a D20.
DC 10 history check.
Classic.
5.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
You
should reroll it with a disadvantage, let's be honest.
Yeah. Enid, did you roll? Sorry?
I did. I got a 2.
Okay. Yeah. you never cared. You don't know who the king and queen are. It doesn't matter. But with hitting the 10, King Albert and Queen Tamora McCairn.
Queen Tamora?
Yeah.
McCairn?
McCairn, yep.
Okay, awesome.
MacKairn.
MAC.
You rolled the 25. So you get them. You get Duke Marco Carvel. You do spy Mistress Savine, kind of in amongst the mingling crowds. You see Lola in a stunning kind of red dress, hair done up, this like glittering like blonde hair in this scene. The red dress stands out very much in the crowd, but you spy her hanging off the side of this very ostentatiously dressed tall elven man with like flowing red mane of hair and pointed elven ears. Seems the clothing he wears is very very rich and ostentatious. He's got lots of like kind of jewels and things hanging off of him. He seems to be someone of importance, and has drawn a crowd, is holding court over a group who all laugh at something he says, of like 10 people all around him. Like, seems to be a charismatic fellow. You see a satyr in amongst the crowd as just kind of like a standout as in terms of races that you see here. By and large, you're seeing a lot more humans in Karden. You're seeing a lot more. There are a handful of dwarves, but it's primarily human, half-elven, elves, dwarves, and sprinkling of tiefling, and in this case, a satyr.
Not to presume their pronouns, but what do they look like? They might identify.
Seems more feminine, but that's the best you can get, like based on body type and some of their coloration of their clothing and things like that. Like,
it's also a very big room.
Sorry, and was this inside or outside? For some reason, I was picturing this as like an outside cocktail hour. This is inside?
This is inside like a massive ballroom. So
gotcha. Okay, cool.
Windows are like 2 layers of window on all sides, like, you know, checkered floor, and like just the whole
so cool,
very Victorian gala ballroom castle.
God, I've missed a ballroom party. Nothing ever goes wrong at these in D&D. It's so fun.
Cocktail hour is underway. You do not have a ton of time here, and you will very quickly be whisked away. At least Andy and DeCrane will be. So if there's anything you wish to do and mingle amongst the crowds, you are welcome to do so.
Can I do sorry, what were you saying, Leah? I talked over.
I'm just eavesdropping on any conversation.
Yeah, I was thinking it was crazy. I think I would point at the king and queen. I don't know if people saw them, but be like, "Oh my god, the king and queen are here." But could I try and do an insight check on like what's their vibe? In like, are they happy to be here? Are they stressed? What's kind of the vibe of them?
I'll give you an option.
Sure.
You can do it from afar, from like this point, or you can try and get closer. The DC will get a little easier if you get closer. You run the risk of more questions as to who you are and what you're doing here the closer you get. So you got a little game to play here.
You know, my boy's getting close. He's getting real close.
Sure. You begin to make your way into the crowds and just kind of mingling. As you do, go ahead, and as you're making your way in, do you have a vast difference between your persuasion and deception?
Yes. Deception's 4 and persuasion's 1.
Okay.
It's not vast, but there's a difference, yeah.
There's a proficiency in there. What I'm trying to decide here is and I suppose I'll let you make the choice, though it's probable to go to the deception given that number. As you're making your way in, how are you presenting yourself to let people like let you through, let you go by without kind of questioning and stopping you, and like how to make yourself fit in nicely? And I think part of it is almost you you don't know you don't belong.
Yeah, so he's not charismatic. I have to think how he would do this. And he's not smart. But he's wise.
I almost went with
He's
just a
super
straight
wise.
charisma check of just like, what's the charisma you exude that people are like, that guy just must know what he's doing, so I'm not going to stop him.
He's wise. So if we would interpret wise like street smart as opposed to like book smart, I wonder if he's... Can I ask you another question before we do this? Tell me about the wait staff that are moving around this area. What are they dressed like? Are they all wearing uniforms?
Quickly clocking, it seems like there is a consistent uniform of a white kind of suit or whatever, pantsuit or full kind of tail situation. But they're all more or less identical in their makeup.
I think you see that cross Augie's mind as he's looking at them, but then he looks down at his green jacket with fringe and this new scaled armor. So he's thought about that. It's not really good vibe. I think he's just going to literally try and wallflower it. He's going to take a drink, and then awkwardly at a party, when you just kind of like walk around and just try and get closer to it, I think to be more presentable, this is more for flavor, he's going to take one of his fringe, rip it off, and he's going to tie up his ears and just a little cutie little ponytail and put it behind him, and just try and maybe be a little more posh looking than he's ever tried before. He sees like the vibe of how snobby people are here. So chin up and just kind of walking around with a drink.
This is also like kind of like artsy, like student.
Yeah.
Like, are you just like someone from, I don't know, the liberal arts school?
I'm like, is he smart enough to try that? Maybe that's just the vibe he's going for. He's really going to commit to being a stuck-up, posh musician who might come here and might not.
So I'm going to ask again, still for a choice. If you want to go, you can make a performance or deception check.
I think it's deception.
Sure.
Roll it.
Please do.
Not bad. 14 on the dice plus 4 is 18.
Okay. You are, with this kind of like performance putting forth, able to kind of, wind your way in through the crowd, and as you kind of set yourself and take a drink, and it is this kind of like, yes, I belong here. I am a part of this, and I don't look the same as you because I'm better than you. And like, this is what you're trying to do as you're making your way through. There's like a fair few like stares and side eyes, but no one that says anything to stop you from doing what you're doing. It gets you pretty close. I think, admittedly, even with an 18, not quite into the inner circle of this particular crowd, but enough that you could get close enough to make an insight check with a relatively easy DC.
Okay, cool. Wow. I'm not going to jinx it. 19 on the dice plus 8 is 27 for insight.
Yeah, absolutely. They are both loving this place. They love they seem to be really enthused. They're excited. And that excitement is rippling through the crowd that is around them. That, like, whether it's performative by the rest of the people in attendance here, and just reflecting back what they see their king and queen doing just to fit in. But they're commenting on the pieces that they see. They're seeing people that they recognize and are calling out, and they're having conversations. They're telling some stories and things about some artists that they've worked with in the past to do portraits and things like that. And very kind of animated. And I'll describe a little bit. King Albert looks like, now I can't remember his name.
Timothy Oliphant.
Jim Broadbent.
Let me Google him.
Looks like he was Professor Slughorn.
Okay. Not the Timothy Oliphant.
Not Timothy Oliphant. No, this is an older, portlier man.
No shade, Jim.
Not at all. But they're both in very regal attire.
Much older than I thought. Like, yeah.
He is significantly older. She is not. She is more in this kind of, she's in her 30s. Like mid 30s to late 30s.
Are they humans? Sorry.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Both human. She's very beautiful. Kind of curly, longer black hair. But yeah, very, very, very beautiful, and has a little bit of that kind of sun-kissed nature, being from Marabella, being from the Gold Coast. A little bit of the kind of like almost Italian, like in her kind of presentation. He is very much whitest white and old. That is the pair of them, and the crowd around them. With your kind of combining your insight plus your perception from earlier, you also recognize a younger woman in amongst their crowd as well, who's kind of flitting in and out, who bears a striking resemblance to Tamara, who you put together to be likely a daughter, a princess, who is kind of interacting and way more casual than anyone else here. So you have very quickly, with a 27 perception, there's a familial connection here. There's not someone who's just randomly popping up here and chatting with the queen.
Does she look Nettie Nice age?
How old are you guys?
Like barely 19 or 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be on that cusp. Should be 19, like not quite 20, even maybe even 18, like 17, 18, maybe even a little bit younger.
For the listener, we wanted to play really young rabbits, and Kyle was like, I don't want to kill a bunch of children in this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say we're out of 18. Okay, cool.
You also find her flitting back and forth with another younger man who is older than her, but not so old that it's weird. He's probably in his late or early 20s, sorry, but decidedly older. You don't recognize him, but she seems to run back to him, and he's holding a drink and hands it off to her. Seems to be someone she is with. With a 27, she's not that interested.
Interesting. Color me interested.
You are picking up little bits and pieces all around this crew as you are on this side. I'm going to jump over to the rest of the crowd as the other three of you are kind of mingling, making your way through. What are you guys up to?
I'm just walking around, eavesdropping on people.
Sure. That seems to be kind of the go-to for Andy as well. Enid, if you're thinking of the same kind of path, I'll have everyone just throw a perception check. See what it is you can pick up as you're making your way through the crowds and mingling.
I think also trying to keep an eye out for
11.
The other models, because now I'm self-conscious about what we're supposed to be doing.
Sure. That'll give you a little bit more focus on your perception.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
And
14.
With 14. Kev, what was your total with 11 plus what?
11 and 6, 17.
Okay. So 14, 17, nat 20. So 14, 17, the pair of you will kind of get the same level of information. You guys catch Lola speaking quite fervently about this Professor Eldros and kind of hanging off of him and talking about how much she has learned from him over this year, and she can't wait to show off what she's learned over this last year in their performance tonight. And everyone's talking about how great she was in this and this and this and this, and she's not turning any of that down. It's quite loving the attention. You do kind of make your way around. Some people are being very judgy about the some of the art choices. With the 17 as well, but actually, Al, you picked this up too. You find a pair of dwarven figures who are kind of one male, female. One, the male is older. You can see they're both dark-skinned. He has a salt and pepper beard and kind of military kind of style haircut, very straight, flat. While she is dark-skinned as well, but pantsuit. She's very kind of stiff, but not military in her demeanor. The two of them are they're standing by one of these sculptures and not really paying attention to it, but they're looking at the program. And you kind of overhear a little bit of the wordsmiths I'm not quite as familiar with. Who would make a call like this to make these readings, the choices for this performance in particular? And the older looks down at them, raises an eyebrow. The sentiment that you gather is that the older is certainly in like some kind of position of power. He's going to be looking into the leadership of the Fellowship of Wordsmiths with a pretty pointed kind of we'll look into that kind of end statement before he stalks off to something else. And she kind of has a wry smile and folds the program, slips it into a person. She kind of heads off in a different direction. So there seems to be some ill intent around these choices, and some of these particular figures are not happy about that. Now, natural 20, you find Mistress Sabine very quickly. She is in conversation with a group of with her four people are all kind of grouped together. They are easily the four best dressed within the room. Mistress Sabine, and you see a stunning green-skinned elf of some kind. She's clearly elven, but the skin is green. In your history, it's very likely she is directly related to the Fae, possibly Eladrin in her racial makeup. You see what looks like a human man, older, but again, very like he's wearing several layers of like kind of flowing fabric, and it's very kind of like comfortable, high fashion, but looks interesting, very different, but stands out. The fabric itself is kind of iridescent, which is just a fun element to it, and it's that like velvet, where like if you rub it one way, it like goes the other way. And then the final is a bald but horned tiefling of a kind of pinky purple coloration. Stands out very much from the rest of the crowd, and even more so as they wear no shirt, but a impressive, massive, pointed shouldered mantle that comes down to a massive cape that sweeps down and around in an impressive, beautiful display of fabric and its style. Each of the other three in the group, every so often you're catching their eyes just trail down to the mantle in a very desirable manner. You see the four of them, and because you're natural 20, you were also looking out for other models. You spy what looks at least like there's a pair of tieflings who seem to be in similar stages of being ready as you and DeCrane are. A pair of tieflings that are kind of over on one side, kind of chatting with some people. You see a man and a half-elven woman that are kind of mingling with some other crew over there, who also are kind of in this. Their makeup is done way bigger than anyone else's. Very clearly, like not just here as guests. They're at least potentially involved as an actor, but likely more in what you guys are up to. And actually, that's all you see as of now. And then you and DeCrane. So a decent spread of what you were looking at.
At some point, if I catch Madame Savide's eye, I'll just like wave. So she knows we're here. She does not want to talk to us.
She beckons you over
as
soon as she kind of catches your eye. And mid conversation, she throws a hand up and says, I would like everyone to meet Andromeda. And she, as you step up close, she does a big, full hand gesture to your tall figure. And these other three all kind of turn their heads and very much eyeing you. They don't say a word, just kind of eyeing you up and down. And Sabine just kind of standing beside you, just kind of like a knowing nod, like, yes. Statuesque.
Yeah.
Stoic. Beautiful.
Okay.
She wandered into my shop the other day. Now she's here. Then they're all just like side-eyeing now and like looking for their models all around the spaces. The tiefling kind of steps forward with you. The mantle like sweeps out and around, and like with it comes just like this intoxicating scent that is like pleasant, but it is just instantly just kind of hits you, and like you feel just a little woozy, like not in a bad way, but like whoa, that was like a big...
It's a shit ton of... Someone dumped a bottle of cologne on themselves.
But it's not overpowering in like a bad way. It's just like, whoa. Like it's like a magical like entrance. And they step to you and just kind of look you up in the eye. You are a peculiar one. A pleasure to meet you, Andromeda. My name is Euphoria.
Oh, hi, yeah. Very interesting place here.
First time in the city?
First time here? Like this part? Sure. Shepherd, I've kind of been everywhere.
Shepherd. Wonderful people.
I kind of like just look at Madame Savine, like I'm waiting for direction.
She doesn't say anything yet. Before it kind of gets a little closer, you have a very fascinating fleck of gold, ever so slightly in your eyes. It's exquisite.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing. I've had them my whole life, so.
Indeed.
Okay.
Where did you say you were born?
The shepherd, like everywhere. Right, like the sun shield. I mean, sun shield. I think the being born part's not the important part for the shepherds, honestly.
An interesting choice you've made, Mistress Savine. We'll see how this plays out. I'll see you all out there. And they make their way away from the group. With Euphoria gone, the other two begin to kind of split off. And Savine comes up next to you with like a little elbow. Just, you got around the ropes. We got this one. Feel it. That mantle. Woo, it's gonna be mine.
So wait, that's the thing you win?
The mantle of majesty. Yes.
It smells really weird. Like not in a bad way.
It's good. It's good. Once you
so wait, that's
I
don't remember the person's name. Scott had it written down.
Euphoria? Oh wait, no, you mean...
Oh wait, no, I thought the rival was someone else. So that's Euphoria.
Rival is Eldros. Her rival is
Anton. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's shit.
She just not as the mantle bearer, but just as a person she dislikes.
Great.
Yes, Euphoria. Lovely. But mantle will be mine again.
I should say, Kyle, I guess now that I realize that the mantle's like special, if I'm not necessarily right at this second, as she's looking around the place, I'm very curious as to like level of any magical effects happening here. Is it like shut the fuck down, no magic at all? Or is it like the fancy rich people get to use magic? Because I know the king and queen are very anti-magic, so I would be actively avoiding them.
Make an Arcana check, sure. But it's a pretty low DC.
It is a 23.
There is little to no magic at best. You're seeing some potential, like there is very likely some magic to deal with some lighting in here. Like there's, but even in the areas where you are seeing bits and pieces of magic, you're seeing more of the either an alchemical variety or an artifice technology that is recreating a magical effect. You know, the lights in here are an incandescent bulb that is holding a dancing light. You know, it's science meets magic in this world where magic can't just be magic, has to have that other level in it to be legal.
Well, I'd also imagine, like, in a place like this, like, magic is like cheating. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
There needs to be some kind of technology behind it to give it its purpose beyond just someone casting a spell. That is not how this is done. There are still notable magical items and relics and things that are still championed by the the Order of the Iron Fang, which is a holy knight's order. They still carry magical weapons and armor that is protected and enchanted. It really comes down to a semantics argument, if you really want to get down to it. But like, if it's done under a holy purpose, you're in the clear. But if it comes from the arcane world and it's like a self-serving, you're the devil. Like,
get out.
This is why I pretend I'm a cleric.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There are ways to get around needing magic for a thing or wanting magic to make your life easier in this world, as long as you have enough money and influence to not be questioned very often.
As long as you have a really good lawyer.
Yeah, in a place like this, getting some extra lights in here isn't going to piss off the king and queen. But coming in here with a full glamour on is an illusion, is an enchantment, is a way of like obscuring and tricking.
Yeah,
that's a quick way to an execution.
Cool.
Yeah.
I will look around and realize I abandoned my friends.
Savine looks at you and looks you up and says, "Well, you're not nearly as ready. You've mingled enough, I think. Right. You don't need to eat or drink anything, so go find Rose and Melanie. They should have you ready."
Okay. Hey, wait, anything that, like, this is your vision. Is anything that, like, you want us to do, or, like, vibes? I've been told that that's very important.
When you first came into my shop, you had how do I put this? A doe-eyed expression of someone seeing something for the first time, and it was beautiful and simple. But what you are is incredibly in tune with what is around you. You want to know more. You are constantly asking questions. You want to, you jumped at this opportunity. You're willing to do something that no one in the right mind would up and do with absolutely no notice. I want all of that.
Okay. I was told not to talk, though, right?
Don't talk? No, this is a runway show. You don't speak.
Never done this before. Okay, what about the crate? Has any notes on to just be tall and statuesque and cool? He's a pretty cool guy.
If he has any ability to flex while he's moving,
he can
be A-okay.
Yeah, okay, he's very athletic.
Oh, also, don't let him smile. Smiling on him would look terrible.
I don't think I've ever seen him smile, so I don't think that's a problem.
Scowls only.
Yeah.
Frowning, crunch eyebrows.
He has resting badass face, so it should be fine.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm gonna go get ready then. Thank you, bye.
Good luck. She takes a breath. And off she goes. Are there any other interactions and mingling you guys are hoping to gather out of this cocktail hour? Very quickly, Rose and Melanie are going to gather you two up and begin to make way back to the dressing room. But they don't specifically come to find Enid or Augustus. You guys are left to your own devices. So we'll come back to you two if there's anything you guys are looking to do. I will say, based on your passive perceptions, you do see these two gathered and heading out.
I think I would just tell Nettie that I saw the king and queen and they have think they have a daughter, and that they are here with someone, but they don't seem that into them. They seem kind of like bleh about them. That's it.
Okay.
Date the princess. Date the princess.
The princess isn't that into them.
Is not into them?
The princess isn't into the person they're with who brought a drink with them.
Oh.
What did you learn?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm still walking around. I feel like just my, what's it called? Perception. It's just really off tonight. I don't know.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
On that note, I'd like a perception check from both of you.
Has Nettie cursed herself? I cursed myself. 12.
14.
Better me.
14 is enough, actually. So, as you guys are having this kind of discussion, you both see Andy and DeCrane taken off. You know that it's starting to get close to the end of this hour. You now have seen the program, so you know it's going to be coming time for doors open at the stage and everyone to kind of start moving that way. But you, Enid, are able to pick up some chatter to your left as someone has finished telling a story, and a kind of a big eruption of laughter and clapping kind of catches your ear. You turn and look, and you spy Lola in this beautiful red dress and all done up, and the elf that she's with, this tall elven man, mane of red hair and kind of ostentatious clothes. He seems to be kind of putting his hands up as if he told the story, and everyone is kind of reacting to him. And he seems to be dismissing himself from the crowd. He kind of excuses himself with hands up, prayer hands to everybody, leans into Lola and whispers something into her ear. She kind of covers her mouth a little as he departs. You watch him make his way, and he is saying hi to everybody, and he's kind of I'll catch up with you at the after party. I'll see you here, all these kinds of stuff. Everyone is trying to get a piece of this guy, and he's just making his way out. As he goes, 30 seconds pass, and Lola starts to kind of make the same trek.
Interesting.
Do either of you do anything in this moment, seeing this departure of these two people?
Do you think I should send out Toot Sweet to go stalk them?
Oh, that could be fun.
Can I do that?
We got to be sneaky. You can't do it in the middle of the dance floor.
Yeah.
Maybe we should follow and then send Toot Sweet out if we get a quiet moment.
Yeah.
That's okay. You guys begin to kind of throw stealth checks for me real quick.
Okay.
I have disadvantage on mine now.
Oh no. 19.
Nice. Okay. Oh wow, mine are really good actually. 19 and 14, so 16.
Nice.
As you guys slowly begin to kind of make your way out of the hall, you come to the edge of the Carvel Hall. And because you held, I am going to need another perception check as well.
Sure.
18.
Nat 20.
Okay. The nat 20 is important in this instance. The 18 would have been very good, obviously, but the nat 20 gives you a choice. The nat 20 gives you the choice that you have two paths you can follow, because both of these people have gone in different directions.
Okay.
You just see the tail end of Eldros's kind of long, blue kind of robe that he's wearing, swishing up on the second level. Went up the stairs and is kind of turning a corner around a wing on the second level in the Great Hall. And you see Lola headed kind of in the same path towards backstage dressing room areas.
Which one do you think? Which one?
The flip a coin and see who goes where. Heads goes left, tails goes right.
Do you have a coin on you? We gotta decide quick.
Okay, ready? Call it.
Tails.
Tails.
Which one was tails?
We didn't pick.
Let's follow the guy. Let's follow the guy.
Okay, let's follow the guy.
Okay. you guys dash up the stairs before realizing you need to be silently and quietly. And you kind of come both around the corner of the hall, and you see he is quite a ways ahead, as it took you guys a minute. As he's walking through these refined halls of the college, you guys slowly are continuing to follow past the great halls to this wing that overlooks the river and courtyard beyond. And he turns another hall. You guys come to the end of that hall. At the end of this hall, you see he slips into a grand kind of double door at the far end of this hall and closes the door behind him. You can see the end of the hall is this double door room. There's a small room before that, and as you kind of are making your way slowly, quietly towards, seems like a secretary's office. There's a small desk, there's a little waiting area, that kind of thing. But the door is closed to where he went. With your passive perceptions, you've noticed a handful of people in the halls sporadically. And what are your passive perceptions? I assume they're decent.
18.
Yeah, 18 at least. And Allie, I'm sure yours is solid as well.
19, yeah.
Oh, wow, better. So you guys both notice that, like, sporadically there are guards in the halls. They're not super active, but you've seen, like, in the time it's taken you to follow this guy, which is a pretty big space, there's like 3 guards. Each has like city watch attire. They're not like knights. They're not arcana classed. City watch, spear, and like a tunic situation, but guards nonetheless. No need to add any extra bloodshed tonight. But you guys rush forward into this kind of secretary's office, and you see the door before you with a golden placard on it that reads Headmaster Anton Eldros.
It's him.
Now, second roll of importance in this instance. I need an emphasis roll.
Oh.
I'd like both of you to roll a d20.
Okay.
Closer to 1 versus closer to 20 will determine whether the door has been locked or was left slightly ajar in his haste.
Mine's just 10.
That's not helpful. This means
I'm trying out
my
Gengar dice.
Gengar dice? Come on, Gengar dice.
That is a 10.
Well.
At least you're all the same.
Yay.
I rolled your dice too.
I get to decide it.
That's what the emphasis roll is built for, Kyle, right? Those powerful moments right down the middle.
For the twins to both roll 10.
You guys rush forward, and in his haste, you can see that the door is not fully shut. It is just faintly ajar. Now, you guys are probably hanging back a minute or so from his departure, and at this point, because you would have been kind of stealthing your way forward, minute or 2.
Should we try and... Yeah, there's guards around, so be cool. But, like, should we... What do you think?
Should I send out Toot Sweet?
Yeah, maybe you should do that and have him, like, sneak in there.
Yeah.
What's Toot Sweet's stealth roll?
Oh,
He's a
yeah.
funny squirrel.
Is he just gonna get yeeted out as a squirrel?
If
It would be pretty funny.
me,
Let's look what his little stealth stats are.
poor sweet baby boy.
Does he
Does
understand
not-
English or
Yes,
common?
And is he treated like a familiar, Kyle? Or is he just... So we could see through his eyes?
Allie could, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's handy. Homebrew flying squirrel is what...
Where's his stealth? I don't see his stealth on this.
It would just be dex.
If he doesn't have the...
Yeah.
he doesn't have an...
Oh,
actual-
18 and plus 4.
So it's not bad.
So it'd be straight +4, yeah.
Okay.
And he has dark vision, which is handy if that office gets dark.
Yeah.
You can also, I think you can choose either hearing or seeing. So if you went
Oh,
over
cool.
here, you'd choose hearing. That's usually the way it works, right?
I don't remember.
I think that's what happened. I'm literally going off of from
Just read
him.
the spell.
Let's
I
do
don't
it.
have the spell.
Someone look up Find Familiar.
Find familiar.
Ooh, the new version of Find Familiar. Aren't there changes?
When your familiar is within 100 feet, you can communicate telepathically. As an action, you can see through your familiar's eyes and hear what it hears.
Oh.
But you lose your eyesight.
You personally go dark.
So I need
your mind.
Augie to watch me.
I can just be with you. Yeah.
Cover me.
You can still talk, so you can be telling Augie what it is you're seeing.
Okay.
Kind of cool, just for later. Your familiar can cast a spell that's touch.
Mm-hmm.
So if everything's got bad, we could use him as like a helicopter paramedic to fly to someone and cast a cure wounds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good idea. All right, should we try it?
Can we try and find a moment, a lapse in the guards where we could do this? Like time that?
Throw a perception check.
Okay, wait 1 second, Eddie. 19.
You haven't seen any guards like kind of come by at this hall or at the intersection for the time you've been here.
Okay, I think now's the time. Go for it.
Okay.
I am going to need a stealth roll from Enid as you go to cast this spell and go through this like summoning element.
Okay, so that's a 19.
Okay. And then Tootsuite pops into before you and kind of looks up at you with his big beady eyes. And just kind of back and forth. What do you tell Tootsuite to do?
Hey, Toot, I'm gonna need you to go in there as stealthily and quietly as you can. Check things out. I am gonna be seeing through you, though. Okay. Okay, we're the same person at this point. You're not a person. I'm not really a person, I guess, but you know what I mean.
Focus, Tootsuite. Focus.
Sweet baby boy, come on. We got this. All right, are you ready? Okay, let's do this. And I roll.
With the door just ever so slightly pushed ajar, Tootsuite squeezes in and give me a stealth check for Tootsuite. So D20 plus 4.
Come on, Tootsuite.
I'm just gonna do this. So that is a 12. So 16.
Okay.
Not bad.
Tootsuite makes his way inside. You pull the door just closed just ever so slightly so there's no light comes in from outside. And then the pair of you kind of hunker down. Enid, are you going to go into his vision?
Yeah.
Augie, you watch as Enid's eyes just kind of and go dark. And just kind of, even her ears just kind of dip ever so slightly as she's no longer quite fully present.
Before she did that, could I have said something like, if I squeeze your hand twice, like, get out of him?
Sure.
Sweet. If I squeeze your hand twice, bail.
Okay.
The office that you see through Tootsuite's eyes is stunningly decorated in a gothic kind of forest motif. There's deep green wallpaper with gold embossed leaf patterning all across the walls, wood accents, built-in shelves and columns, rich browns, and the wall sconces and various elements around them, they glimmer with gold or maybe a polished brass. In the middle of the room, which is kind of helping Tootsuite's kind of stealth, he's kind of currently behind as he's kind of skittering along the floor behind a coffee table flanked by 4 high-back chairs. There's a stack of books on the table. The room is very faintly lit by candlelight from these wall sconces. It's very dim. However, at the opposite side of the room, there is light coming from a desk, and through Tootsuite's ears, you can hear the kind of shifting of things on a desk, the opening of a drawer, things being set out, and just kind of the muttering of something under the breath of this figure. A little sing-songy in what he's muttering under his breath as kind of continuing along. Tootsuite continues to make his way further and further into the room. You hear a heavy thud as Tootsuite kind of peeks around the corner of the chair to look up, and you can see Eldros kind of unfurl a large piece of vellum or thick parchment, and is placing heavy kind of candles on either end to kind of hold it in place. With the sets kind of these elements and items around him, and with a flick of his wrist, you watch the candles that he sets out alight, though the flame is not yellow or orange, but a deep crimson. Underlit by the crimson light, the elven headmaster suddenly looks far more menacing, of wild eyes and sharp lines of his face, now an angular mask of mania, the hair kind of draping down across his face, adding these crazy lines. He stoops and pulls these items in quick succession from his drawer. You see a large spool of thread with a pair of long knitting needles, a thin wooden box of some unique make, a mortar and pestle, and an ornate inkwell. He sets them out with a practiced efficiency in a semicircle before him, and he sets to task as he is continuing to speak under his breath. Enid, go ahead and make a perception check. Through Toot Sweet's ears, this is still your perception.
This feels bad.
Yeah, this feels very bad. That is 15.
Perfect. You pick up that he is about midway through the reciting of the Crimson Strings song that you know.
Fuck.
You watch through Toot Sweet's eyes. He wraps the crimson thread around both of his wrists, winding it several times around each wrist individually before cutting loose the spool. He then opens the thin box and drops some like chunky, almost looks like tobacco. Like he takes these kind of like chunky pieces into the mortar and pestle, snaps the box closed, puts it away, and begins kind of grinding and working away at the contents into the mortar and pestle. He then unstoppers the inkwell and pours the ground contents in, and rapidly, with the other hand as he's pouring, draws the knitting needle up and pricks his fingertip. Blood pools and spills, and this couple of drops into the bottle as well. You guys know this poem quite well, and he's nearing the last few lines. And as he comes to finish the final line, he releases the needle, finishes kind of tapping the blood into the inkwell, and swishes it around a little. And where he releases the needle in the other hand, it stays hovering in the air where he released it. And his voice switches from this kind of quiet, sing-songy to a deeper, dulcet tone. And he begins to speak in Sylvan, to which you both understand, if I'm not mistaken.
I know it.
Oh, we do.
In Sylvan, you hear him say, "Mother of Wither and Bloom, your humble servant presents an offering befitting your grace." With each word, the now hovering needle swishes and flicks and descends into the inkwell. A graceful soul, pure in heart and body, malleable in mind and eager to please. The needle rises, tip wet with the crimson mixture, and lowers to the parchment before Eldros begins to write. "In your honor, I submit to you, Lola Snicket." The scratching of the needle and parchment ceases, and the candlelight flickers and fades. The room is now entirely dark. You hear just kind of the shuffling and moving object and item, and a heavy slam of the drawer. Footsteps are approaching the door on the other side.
I squeeze Nettie's hand twice.
I guess this. Give me a perception check at disadvantage.
Oh no.
Perception?
Perception disadvantage.
Okay. I think the lowest was 16.
Okay. With a 16, you've been like waiting patiently, hoping for some kind of sign from Eden, and you're just kind of hearing like, "Oh no, this is bad." And then, but like can't really hear you respond or anything like this. You hear his footsteps as he's about halfway across the room. So you do not have a ton of time. By the time you squeeze Enid's hand, you guys have one round before he's going to be out the door.
I think I would just like squeeze her hand and already be pulling her down the hall.
Okay. It's a long hall.
Just
It's
pull
like
my body.
120-foot hall.
just do.
Fuck. What the fuck are we gonna do? Are there other doors in this place?
You do have a squirrel in the room.
What's a squirrel gonna do? Cause a
Distraction?
distraction? Well, maybe we don't want him to know we're there. Sorry, were there other doors around?
So-
Are there any other doors?
On the right side of this entire hall are like kind of alcoves and windows that look out into the courtyard and stuff below. So nothing on the right side. On the left side, there are a series of doors. There's there's half a dozen doors within the 120 foot before you would reach a corner. You just have no idea what's behind them or whether any of them are open or locked.
Fuck. I think he's so panicked. I think he starts tugging her down the hall. So if I just have one round, starts tugging maybe 2 feet, realizes it's not going to work, and he'll try the nearest door and just see what'll happen if he tries to open one.
Emphasis roll, bitch. Let's go.
Fuck.
Oh
Alright,
my god.
It's the netty dice.
Do not
You
roll
got
2
this.
10s again.
On a-
6. Only a 6.
No.
Well, it's 2.
2 rolls? Okay.
You got to go closest to 1 or closest to 20. You want closer to 20, the door will be open.
You got this.
19.
Yes.
Netty
The door-
dice.
It's jammed. And with you hear you watch the doorknob begin to just turn of his door as you just and tumble in, pulling Nettie in behind. There is a little bit of sound as you kind of clatter and fall and push the door closed, and the door closes. And you guys hear the footsteps stop. And he begins to walk on. A minute passes. 2 minutes. All is well.
Should we try and break into his office? Should we go tell the others?
Ooh, we should probably go tell the others first. Because we know
you
what's
can-
in there.
Maybe you keep Toot Sweet in there and we go tell the others.
Okay.
I know, I thought about that. We could cast a sending spell. We could use our Nexus ring.
Oh, true. Okay.
I will point out you guys are in like a pretty safe area. You're in like kind of a broom closet situation.
I'll use my Nexus spell. I've never done it before.
Okay. You got
I'll
this.
I'll telepathically. Well, I'll speak a telepathic message to send out over our rings, and I can choose it's just us, right, or is it everyone?
I forget how I worded it, but I think it can just go to an individual target, or you can send it broadband. Like you can send it across everybody, or you can send an individual target.
It's 25 words, right?
25
Yeah.
words.
To another known ring bearer within the network.
Yeah. So you can send it to an individual, or you can kind of broadcast.
I don't want to broadcast because then, like, I don't know
Everyone
who
who
else
has-
rings. It's gonna be really embarrassing. Hello, does this work? I think I would just send it to Andy. I'll go, Andy. It's Augustus. We followed Eldros to his room. Bad, scary. Sugar. Maybe not sugar. See you soon. 24 left. It's Augustus and Nettie. Okay, I think I sent a good one. She should be pretty clear.
Okay.
I don't know where I am.
Well, Andy and DeCrane at this point, so over the last 15, 20 minutes, you guys have been getting into the next full layer of your attire. A lot of focus into the makeup on the two of you right now. It's kind of being done up even while they're hitting the contours very heavily, adding in these kind of like glitter elements and like sparkles from this kind of transition, this ombre from like a deep blue to a silver across your faces. While Andy's hair is being done, DeCrane's has just been left as untouchable. And elements are being applied, and Andy's hair is now kind of being held and kind of like waiting to kind of hold its shape. You hear this message.
It's absolutely like in Princess Diaries when they're trying to comb her hair and it breaks a brush. She has the same kind of hair. It's Anne Hathaway in early Princess Diaries. Sugar, not sugar, maybe sugar. Sorry. I look at DeCrane, realize I'm the only one who has this. Apologize to the makeup person. Sorry, I was told not to eat anything today, and I think it might be getting to my head. How much longer do we have on this?
Oh yeah, that happens. Why? What do you need? How long?
I don't know. I think my friends were coming in. I'm just generally. How we doing? Timeline.
No, we're doing really good. Honestly, having DeCrane not having to have any hair done makes this process go by a lot faster. So honestly, he's really pretty much done. We need to do some of the final touches for final positioning of some of the accoutrement. But honestly, we got moved deeper into the show. We're still not on until like an hour into the show.
Is that like a recent change?
Honestly, we didn't get the final position until today. These kinds of things happen all the time. They made a change to... it's like a tradition to end with the Day of Dark Sun production, but for whatever reason, they wanted to move that higher into the show so they could end on the Crimson Strings, and so we got kind of shifted around a little.
Okay. DeCrane,
we also had a reading dropout, if I remember correctly.
Hey, DeCrane, if you're like done early, maybe we should like find our friends, because I'm not sure where they are.
Yes, especially if they're in trouble.
Them always getting into trouble.
That's my fear.
But if you need a quick break, that's all right. We're probably pretty close to the beginning of the show. We could go and check out the headmaster's address here in probably a few minutes.
Sure.
And we can just pop our heads out and just see where the activity is at. And if you guys could be back here just after the king's address, actually, the headmaster's address. When you hear the King's Symphony Orchestra strike up, that is your 30-minute time to when we are going to be on stage.
So we should be back here by then.
You need to be in full, ready to rock and roll shortly thereafter.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is a big night for you guys, too. Like, you guys should be out there, like, enjoying it, right?
We will, one day. Yeah.
I mean, you can, like, kind of do it now. The crane's kind of done.
We still have some things we want to do. We do want to take in... I've seen the Day of Dark Sun. It's not that fun. I don't really want to care.
I mean, like, the topic's not really. Okay.
It's like a, historical... Yeah. Anyways, it's for the king. King and queen are here, But it is always fun to see the headmaster's address. Eldros is dreamy.
He's a headmaster.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of his whole operation, honestly.
Right. Okay. Sure.
And honestly, once you guys are done, the rest of the show is way more fun.
Cool.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's take a break. You guys can go and do your thing. When you hear the King's Symphony Orchestra strike up, get back here so we can finish.
Great. As soon as their backs are turned, I find whatever nearest catering thing is and I eat something.
There's no catering really back here, but you could steal some food from someone who's left it out in the hall.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a bunch of like hors d'oeuvres that have been left that you can snag.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and then I'll reply on the sorry, there are people right near us. Danger, but not danger. Where are you? Bunny?
Yep.
Dude, can we only cast sending once a day, or can we respond back?
Each ring can cast sending once a day, but you can respond to each sending. So no one responded to you, but they could have. I think actually she said sugar, but not sugar to Crane. I think our friends are in trouble. But then you can respond to Andy.
I'll respond back and say, we're in a, I don't know, some sort of like office upstairs. I think we'll sneak back down to you. Maybe meet you back in the ballroom?
We're not, you would know, we're not going back to the ballroom after this. It goes into like a different area, right? Or is it in the ballroom? I thought there were like doors opening to a different area.
Yeah. Great Hall is the entry. You guys are in the backstage. Ballroom is cocktail hour. Gilded stage is all the cool stuff.
Okay. Well,
you guys haven't seen the Gilded stage yet. You're just backstage in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Regardless, you guys can find each other. So, easy enough. You guys can meet up either in the middle or back here in the Great Hall. You guys would be able to kind of collectively find one another.
Look around, try and find a private spot we could just kind of hang at.
As you guys kind of look around, the ballroom is beginning to kind of thin and clear out as the doors to the Gilded stage are open. It seems like, kind of based on timing, there is actually in the Great Hall a clock to kind of give you a sense of time. It's 8:20, like 2. So there's like 8 minutes to the headmaster's address. So when things really kind of start. So people are really kind of finding seats and all that kind of stuff into the Gilded stage, which you can access through the ballroom, but there is obviously its own entrance as well.
We saw Eldros, and I think he's gonna do something Nettie said. Nettie said he's spoken like his... Nettie, you tell him.
It was in Sylvain, and it was just, he's gonna do something bad. He like did a whole thing with like dropping blood in a vial, and we
did like, but what is he like? What did you get? Like, was he talking to somebody? Was it like magic?
No, he was like, he was reciting.
Nettie, you said under your breath when it was happening, "Mother of Wither and Gloom, in your honor, I submit to you, Lola," which is the name of the blonde in the red dress from yesterday. And she's like, I think, the big Red Marion thing at the end of the strings, the crimson strings.
So basically, that's going to be the final act. He's going to do something with that.
Very, very human sacrificey. He's he's going to talk like in like 5 minutes. Like he opens the whole. This whole thing is his. He like opens the whole show.
So what do we do?
We should probably do what he's saying.
We could also.
Anything else.
We left Tootie in the room, and he put like a letter in a desk. Like I think he was signing something. So we could also try and get that.
Okay.
Or we could use that as evidence later. We could be like, follow us, and then show someone if it's still there.
That's a good idea. Okay. I guess I can go. Can I go back into Suite?
It's within 100 feet or within a mile. You're not within.
It's 100 feet. One of them is like you can talk to them within a certain distance, and then you can only observe within a further distance.
Yeah, you're not within 100 feet.
Okay, we're too far. Yeah.
But you could communicate with him within a mile, which you are.
Okay.
I think it's Oh yeah, okay.
I can communicate with him. Do you want me to tell him to get the thing out of the desk?
Well, maybe we should leave it there in case we have to be like, follow us, guards, and then we go to the desk. We don't want it to seem like we planted it there, you know?
But what if they're not going to believe us, though? That's the only thing.
That's true.
They might think we're suspicious.
We are suspicious of a bunch of newbies. I don't know, I wasn't there. If it seemed like super scary and spooky, like, apparently they rearranged the whole show just to like, so they ended with that thing. Kind of recent.
Oh, not good then.
Should we warn Lola? Like, should we tell her?
You can.
Do you think she's on it? Because he was whispering to her.
And she's all over him. That's what Rose said.
Yeah, from the words you said, it sounds like it's very much, look at this young, impressionable lady. She can be yours now. She is very willing to do whatever and probably is an unwilling person in this whole thing.
Should we be on high alert to save her and then frame Eldros?
The saving the person thing seems pretty important, but I'm not sure how we can do that because we don't entirely understand what it is we're up against. Hey, Kyle, based on a description from Allie, do I got fucking anything on, is this a summoning situation? Is this any magic situation based on a description?
I'm going to say that it's fair to say that description needs a lot more for you to go on to make any kind of determination. I mean, it obviously sounds like there's some kind of magic at play.
You mean he lit a bunch of candles with magic?
He lit some candles.
But, like, you have no concept without seeing any kind of anything yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I will point out, none of what was said was incantation.
Right.
So it's not like you were like, he did like a bunch of stuff that wasn't words. It was, he sang the crimson, like kind of hummed and sang the crimson strings. And then in just Sylvan said this phrase, said this stuff, which is like a declaration, an offering, but was not necessarily cast spell, incantation, then a thing.
Okay, so let's just play, demon advocate here. What if it's just, hey, I'm like a weird, superstitious theater guy.
Mm-hmm.
This is my pre-game ritual, and it's just like, I really want this thing to be good. Who's the mother of Wither and Bloom? Have either of you guys heard that? Anyone heard that?
Kyle, we heard that?
It does not immediately ring any bells to you guys. But I will allow anyone to, except the Crane, you don't make sense for this case, but the other three to throw history checks to see if anything does kind of jog your memory with that.
Oh, it's almost an at 20. Just 8.
Roll a 6 on the dice. So, history?
Yep.
Oh,
16.
18.
Nice.
The two of you, Mother of Wither and Bloom doesn't immediately jump to anything, but the Wither Bloom Forest is a location in the north, on the borders of Baern and Candorne. That's the best you got.
Like 1 minute left until that guy speaks.
We should probably get somewhere where we can at least hear.
Maybe Nettie and I will try and get really close to the stage in case we need to save that girl.
Or try to find her.
I will also point out really quickly, this is 8:30 Headmaster's dress. She doesn't go on stage until 11.
Okay, so we have plenty of time.
But
let's go hear what he has to say, because maybe he has spooky clues in it.
Okay.
Why don't we stand up together for that?
Yeah, we can watch from the wings, apparently.
Okay, lead us there.
You guys rush down back through the kind of backstage corridors to where there is the bulk of the actors, actresses, and all these people who are going to be performing the show have taken on to this two wings of this stage, and you're seeing the stage itself from side stage, looking up into a kind of a semi-coliseum, kind of wrap-around tiered series of seating, of layers of seating. There are balcony and kind of inset places that kind of jump out, and boxes for the richer patrons, and the central one in which you see the king and queen watching directly down into this thrust stage theater. So there is kind of like the stage extends directly out from the kind of main stage that would be where you guys are in the wings. There's like a T to the stage. It extends out into the middle of, I think it's called the thrust, or an open stage, into where the crowd is kind of watching. So you're kind of seeing it from three angles, or you can anyways, which also works for runway purposes. As you guys rush to the back of a relatively large crowd of people on the sides, you don't have the best view, though, Andy, you are tall and are able to see over most of the people that are here, and bunnies can hop up on stuff and be all right. Crane, you'll see through. Lamplight surrounding the stage is doused in unison, and a hush falls over the crowd beyond as the anticipation builds. At the center of the stage, you watch rising up from below a single shadowed figure. Orchestra begins to build as a soft hammered cymbal rises to a crescendo, and a spotlight illuminates the tall, beautiful elven man who you've come to know as Headmaster Anton Eldros. Fiery red hair that tumbles in long, wavy curls to the mid-back, porcelain skin, high-pointed ears adorned by rings and sapphires. He wears a robe of bright cerulean blue with wide lapels of silver and gold stitched pattern, similarly around the long loops of his sleeves. High collar surrounded by 3 or 4 chains and necklaces and pendants poke up at the edges of a crystalline mantle that comes to a point off his shoulders. With a flick of his hands, a ring of blue flame bursts to life and runs the length of the stage, outlining the entirety of it in a flickering blue alongside the ever-glittering gold of the gilded stage. The applause begins to break out as the figure walks forward and stops at the foremost point of the open stage. He pauses, he bows, and the applause quiets. Good evening, one and all, and welcome to this year's Gala of First Snow. Tonight's performances, presentations, and wonders are guaranteed to inspire awe, mesmerize, and provoke. As headmaster, I can personally guarantee you will not be disappointed. Though, should you find it lacking, please feel free to send the college a healthy donation to ensure a better showing next year. Tonight, we are all graced by the presence of our king and queen, for whom many of this year's performances and offerings have been tailored to. We thank you for allowing us to be a part of your festivities and for your generous contributions to the arts. Art in all forms gives us something to strive for, to hope for. It frees the soul from the mundane and offers you the brief experience of being a creator, not simply the creation. It is tradition that we close this gala affair with a rendition of The Day of Dark Sun. However, this year, that presentation will lead our show, and our feature presentation will be a new take on an old tale to remind us all what we have fought through to be here today, to go from here with a renewed fervor for life and all that we take for granted in the blessed light of first sunrises and the charm of first snows. With that, please join me in welcoming our first troupe to the stage. Hailing from our very own college, they will lead us into the unknown, a morn born of darkness and dread. This is the Day of Dark Sun. He bows, the applause, lights come down, and you watch a bunch of people who are around you rush forward as they take the stage and begin the show for the Day of Dark Sun. Eldros begins making his way in your direction, the side that you happen to have chosen. He begins to kind of make his way through the crowds. They part instantly. Everyone is kind of like patting him and patting on his back and his shoulders. And please, thank you. He's making his way through everyone. His eye catches the kind of group of you kind of in the back. He gives a wink and a smile. Flashy, bright, clean teeth. Makes his way past you.
I don't trust him. Can I try and get a peek of where he's going as he's passing us?
Sure, make a perception check.
What the fuck is this guy up to? 19.
You watch as his robes and everything is kind of spilling out. He makes his way around the corner. You quickly kind of run to the side. You watch as he takes a couple of steps and slows, turns ever so slightly, pauses, and continues down this path, headed back, either back through the backstage elements. You are welcome to follow to see where he's going, but he's kind of headed back through the backstage, which either will lead back to the Great Hall or could cut up into the Gilded Stage.
Maybe I'll look back at my friends and be like,
I think, shit, I'm really nervous about casting any magic around here.
me too.
It is familiar to you. That's not going to work. Within 30 feet at least once. When he was talking, I was thinking about this, but you were talking, so I didn't want to interrupt you. Could I have tried to get a good look at, like, what's his most prominent piece of clothing?
I mean,
like, is he wearing a cape that's like super
kind of like this big, large, flowy blue and silver robe? It's kind of like the bulk of it.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get a good look at it. I have prepared locate object today.
Okay.
Just so you understand. Not necessarily that I'm going to use it right now, but I'm just going to try to make sure if we ever need to figure out where he is, I'm going to try to, like, it says as long as an object that you've seen within 30 feet. So if I take like a minute of when he's talking to try to make sure I know clothes quite well. So that's just the one thing that I thought would be easy.
For sure.
So I can say, like, I mean, if we don't want to follow him right now, I can probably try to find him. Go somewhere, but like...
This song's been haunting Augie, so I think he's going to follow after this guy. He would have waved at his friends and then just want to follow backstage to this guy.
Okay. You begin to kind of follow the path he took. I think the best role I want from this. Done a lot of perception checks, and perception does make sense, but I feel like there's something better here. I would rather you roll me an Arcana or Insight check, please.
So insight, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
26. 19 on the dice.
Jesus.
Wait, 27.
Damn. You intend to follow after Eldros. Are the rest of you kind of following his Augustus's lead, or is he just kind of taking off on his own? Just as you're not particularly far from where he would be. Like, you guys are still.
I'd be close.
Wings.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if we should keep eyes in multiple places in case Lola comes back, or if it's worth all of us pursuing. I don't know that I want to get too far because I want to be able to hear what's happening in terms of timing of everything. Okay. What do you think, Kev?
It's fine. Hold on. Let me just kind of let this out, and this can help decide a little. As Augustus makes the point to rush after Eldros, Enid begins to follow pretty soon after. As Andy and DeCrane, you guys come to the edge, so you're at the end of the hall, down the hall that he's kind of headed down. It curves a little, so it begins to kind of lose sight at the far end of it. But at about 40 feet in, where Eldros had paused there for a moment and then continued, Augustus, you hit that point in your sprint after, and with a 27, something washes over you that is a rush of emotional energy, and like you run through like temperature of fear, anxious, anger, frustration, confusion. Everything just kind of ripples through your body in that moment, and you feel the presence of something old, ancient, and powerful within the vicinity.
I think I'd probably just like take a step back there, like, reflexively, and just try and process what I just felt, and then wait for like Nettie to catch up.
Enid, I'd like you to make a perception check for me.
Okay. 23.
Nice.
Okay. As you catch up to Augie, you don't quite have this same sense of ancient and old and magic. You get a scent of kind of having a same sense memory moment as smelling the midden rot blades. There is it's not that same scent, but it's a similar sensation. There's a cinnamon, pine, kind of earthy scent that hits your nose as you kind of stand here, and instantaneously, like a flash of memory washes over you, like in the Lord of the Rings when Frodo touches the ring and it like flashes Eye of Sauron. You have that of a burning forest. Fire, you feel the heat against you. That's all you have.
Do you feel that?
Oh, that can't be good.
I just felt like this like wave of like extreme emotions, and then it's like there's something near.
Okay, well, I just saw a forest on fire, so yeah.
What is going on?
Both of you, as you have this conversation and you look around you, the door immediately to your right is the name Lola Snicket on it. It's her dressing room.
Oh, whoa.
We gotta go see if she's okay.
Okay, let's go in. We gotta play stupid, though.
Is there anyone around us right now?
Not far from you, 40 feet from you, is everyone in the wings.
Okay, great.
You are like just backstage.
Okay. I won't do anything crazy. I'm gonna stealth up to that room. I'll like put a paw to my mouth to be quiet and see if we can stealth up to this.
Both of you make stealth checks.
Fuck, I take mine with disadvantage. Okay. Bad.
20!
Like nat 20 or just straight up 20?
Nat 20.
Oh, amazing. I got 7.
Yeah. Oh.
Admittedly, you guys were already like kind of right about there, so it's not that much more movement to get there, though. Couple little creaks of the armor that is not quite settled into your normal wear. I also want to just point out again, just in case anything pops off, Augie's got armor on. Enid's okay. If Decrane doesn't have any armor nor weaponry. Andy doesn't have armor nor weaponry every day, but doesn't have her spell sash.
Were we allowed our weapons in here?
No, absolutely.
I have 2 sticks. Were they allowed with me?
They would have been questioned, but they're kind of like clubs.
We did get caps on them, remember?
Yeah.
I'm saying that's probably even more suspicious.
They would have been held.
Okay. Sorry, go for it, Decrane. No, you go.
I was just saying, would I notice their distress feeling? I don't sense it.
I think you guys aren't that far from them and haven't made a decision of which way you're going to go yet. They're still within your eyesight down the corridor here. So you're seeing them having like run, paused, held a thing, come leaning towards a door. So like you're not that far from them. Like something is clearly up.
I was going to ask if Nettie had her battle loot was my only other thing.
Oh, yeah, I would have had it, yeah.
That would be allowed.
Yeah.
Sick. Sick.
All right.
Decrane, did you want to do anything, seeing us kind of looks a little sus?
I want to begin to... I mean, I don't know how far I guess there are no weapons in here. So my thinking is, what could I use as a weapon if I need to?
That's smart. Look around. Yeah.
Sure. You begin to kind of look around. There's like all kinds of like construction elements and materials. Like there's pieces of wood. There's like set stage building stuff. At best, you could probably find like a light hammer equivalent. You could maybe throw some like there's buckets of paint that could be wielded as heavy instruments. Like there's nothing that is active weaponry, but there's like mundane stuff you'd see all around it, at a backstage.
A big ass wrench.
A mop.
Maybe. Yeah, mops, brooms, you could quarterstaff it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is stuff that will have to be improvised. But I'll be pretty flexible on any kind of generic improvised decisions should they need to arise.
Should they pop?
You guys can make the decision whether you're going to come closer, but at the point at the door, the two of you kind of come to, what are you doing at the door?
I think just listening.
Okay. Then perception checks from both of you.
Yeah, listening or trying to sense if did that feeling persist?
This perception check will help home that.
Sure. Let's do it. And almost like, is that getting stronger as I get closer?
Mm-hmm.
18 for me. What about you, Nettie?
10.
Too difficult to hear through the door, and even with an 18, you hear like possibly some talking, but it's like hearing through water. It sounds like there might be something in there, but it could also be like reverb from the stage, like it's just behind you. Like it's too difficult to tell. However,
Could just be running lines.
well, yeah, but like it's not even as clear as that. Like it doesn't sound like someone is actively like normally speaking. However, at the door, like you feel a presence. You feel something beyond the mundane. Whatever you are attuned into in the natural world, perhaps a latent fey element. There's some like spidey sense tingling of something unnatural. Maybe not unnatural isn't the right word, but supernatural.
I just look at Nettie trying to gauge her face, what she wants to do.
You didn't hear anything realistically, like, so you don't have much more to go on.
Does she feel that, or is it just me?
That's more a you thing. If Eden wants to try and see if you can sense any more, I would need either an insight or Arcana check from Enid.
I will try. Let's see. I think I'm leaning towards Arcana. Yeah, I'm going to try Arcana.
Sure.
Okay. 6.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's honestly, it just kind of feels like you guys are standing outside of a door in the back alley of, in the backstage area. Like you're not getting anything more. You had a moment of very obvious out of body memory snap, like it happened before, but now you're just kind of feeding off of Augie more than feeling your own thing.
I will rub my chest and then rub my arms as if I'm cold, and I'll just mouth something wrong and just point at the door.
If they've been standing for a significant amount of time,
It's been longer than is normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're 40 feet from you. You guys can walk.
Yeah, we would probably just be like,
oh, you walk up?
Yeah.
I would just point to the door and be like, something wrong.
And then I just go up to the door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's like a performer, right? There'd be reason to be.
It's Lola.
I see the sign. Lola. Room service. I don't know. Is it like a...
I knock on the door. Lola, Headmaster Aldress needs you.
Is it locked?
You turn the knob, it's not locked.
And if someone's in trouble, then we should fix it, right? Let's open the door.
Okay. You turn the knob, it's not locked, it's a push. You go to push, and it is not budging. I shouldn't say it's not budging. It pushes in, but pushes back.
I must push this fucking thing open.
Lean my weight.
Make an athletics check.
Casually. Oh,
Who's the
God.
strongest? Is it Nettie?
I think it is Nettie. It's not me.
Is it me? You want me to try?
Open. Yeah.
I think I rolled a straight 10.
I wouldn't bash it and make a lot of noise, but maybe just trying to shut
That's why I was just trying to lean.
You're leaning against it and not going anywhere. Andy, throw me a Arcana check as well.
Great.
Enid, do you want to try and push this thing?
Natural.
Sure.
Okay.
Strength check?
Athletics.
Athletics, okay. 23!
Nice.
23, okay.
My sister.
This happens to be contested, so hang on.
fuck whatever's the other side of the story. Let's get arrested.
Where is my bonus here?
I'm so tense because I don't want to ruin the performance and get us in trouble.
Enid kind of winds up a little and rushes the door as Andy, you kind of turn the knob, and Enid just like full on like drop kick, bunny kick, kick the door in. It doesn't slam. It's like caught and pushed against a like force field of energy. And you guys all kind of push in alongside. And you witness a odd and possibly horrifying scene. There's a candle lit in the middle of the room, this red candle on a table. You see, it's a dressing room. It's a single dressing room. Lola is a lead in this play, and within the headliners of the college. She has her own dressing room, so you can see some of her stuff is kind of laid out. She has makeup and elements of clothing all around the room. There's obviously a makeup table and the classic kind of mirror with all the lights and stuff on the one side. There's a gift basket with flowers kind of spilling out, makeup and all these kinds of things, chocolates. But on the table in front of the lights in the mirror, there's an open red, kind of a long, like a fancy pen box that you get a fountain pen in. It's red velvet. It's open. You can see inside. There is a depression where something was once sat and is no longer. Candle lit in the middle of the room. Crimson candle, red flame. First thing that you see after taking in the kind of exterior of the room is this wobbling energy kind of at the fringes of the room. All around this entire room, everything is shifted and warped ever so slightly. Something otherworldly, something supernatural is bending space and time within this room. And you see in the middle of this room, Lola, in her full red gown, the full crimson strings, like performance ready, makeup done up to the nines, wild kind of like, beautiful full red lipstick, but like these kind of wild flares of red kind of makeup done up around her face. Her hair is done up in kind of wild tangles, and red ribbon kind of throughout. She kind of stands before this figure that is piercing through the wall, this kind of breakdown of energy and space. She stands, wrists wrapped in crimson thread, and that is kind of winding around her, and this kind of crimson thread and ribbons are kind of encircling her in this kind of consistent, constant swirl. You see her hands wrapped. You see blood at her fingertips. You see her looking up into the face of a bark-covered feminine form with a tall, spiraling crown. Though bark-like, the texture across the body and crown is more crumbling white, like burned ashen quality. Despite the ashen quality, the face is an immaculate porcelain mask of a feminine face with bright crimson lips and cheeks. The right eye is completely black but rimmed with red, while the other is a crimson X where an eye would be, giving this kind of dull marionette-like appearance. You see her limbs long and dangling with thread hanging from the fingertips, and these long, jagged points. Focused on Lola in this engagement, where you burst through the door and time kind of halts in that moment. Lola is kind of looking up and into the face of this creature, this figure, and she remains in that way. The face of this creature, the porcelain mask, looks in your direction, and there is a shrieking wail that utters out, and the entire room just glass shatters, all the bulbs burst, fire begins to erupt around any flammable elements in the room. There is the fire from the candle begins to kind of swirl up and around and catches bits of Lola's dress. It scatters out amongst the four of you and thrusts you back out of the room. And that's where we're going to pick up next time.
Fuck.
Oh,
that was a little spooky. I could picture that so well. Picture all of it so well.
Yeah.
Don't like that
No.
image. No, I'm not big on that.
You had to meet Red Marion sometime.